You're listening to Oilersnation Radio, presented by the Nation Network.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Oilersnation Radio, episode 10. How's that for a little intro music coming in this week?
That felt professional.
We don't normally get to hear that.
Does it not feel like we're playing Wii Sports right now?
Kind of.
We are playing Wii Sports.
You look like my character in Wii Sports.
This is Wii Podcast.
Freshly shaven Coom.
Babyface Coom.
I didn't know you had a baby face.
You didn't know I have a baby face? You stare at me every day.
You've had a shaggy beard for like 6 months.
The
Shaggy
scruff is
beard?
part of your look.
Like a scruffy facial hair.
Yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily a beard.
We're going to talk about all your facial hair coming up at the end of today's podcast because all three of you handsome young men are doing Movember for a great cause. We are going to have the link in the article today. We're going to tweet that out. We're going to help raise some money. But first, we are going to thank our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant out at Sherwood Park, Alberta, 2540 Broadmoor Boulevard. Give them a call, 587-860-1538. Before launching the podcast, Chris was doing a little math over there. He's got the doggo math. Gus versus Frank has been a very intense battle all season long. Both doggos picked a winner last night over Chicago. Chris, give us an update.
So I'm holding the whiteboard here, the Frank versus Gus score.
A nice visual cue for the radio listeners. That's good.
We'll take a picture of that. We'll throw that on the social medias.
Yeah. So what I'm seeing right now is Frank. Frank has come out solid, hit a couple bumps in the road early, but he's back in his groove right now, and he's performing well. Frank is sitting at a 7-5 record right now with 14 points. Gus, on the other hand, Gus started out slow, continued slow for a little while, but lately we've seen some bright spots in Gus's game. What do you think, Dan?
I think Gus is responding well to the criticism that he's been taking from Frank's owner, Bag Milk.
That's right. We were giving some chirps to Gus last week on the podcast. He came out with some big wins this week.
Yeah, he's still... and you know what? I'm starting to think that's his strategy. Just quick picks, don't think. Quick pick, run into the pieces of papers as fast as you can, knock the treats all over the floor, and chase after them.
But he slowed it down for for that one on Saturday. Well, I mean, they slowed it down.
They slowed it down. Slow motion.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Slow motion, Gus. Anyways, Gus is sitting at a 5-7 record, opposite of Frank, sitting at 10 points, only 4 points behind Frank. So we got a close battle. Can change next week.
1 week could change it all, Chris.
Yep.
Gus versus Frank. That's the kind of content you'll only find at Oilers Nation on social media.
That's what you're here for.
Shout out to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant for making this possible. 2540 Broadmoor Boulevard. Call them 587-860-1538. Thank you again to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant. Also, if you see Jay driving around in the Nation truck, take a picture, snap that on Twitter or Instagram, use the hashtag NationTruck, and you'll be entered to win prizing. Now, boys, big week for the Oilers. A lot of stuff going on. Before we get to last night's big win over the Chicago Blackhawks, I want to back up to Tuesday's loss against the Minnesota Wild. Coom, you thought that it would be interesting to look at both games because last night the Oilers lost the Corsi, won the game. Tuesday, they won the Corsi, lost the game. What do you think about their performance against Minnesota?
It goes to show that you have to look at these stats in a larger sample size. You can't come to a conclusion after one game when you're looking at shot attempts. So
because like Minnesota, the Oilers vastly outplayed the Wild.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the shot attempts thing is, it's not quite so black and white, cut dry as you outshoot the team you were better, right? Like the thing with the Minnesota is that's their game. Like they lull you to sleep. They cover the middle of the ice, keep it to the outside, allow you to take those shitty shots from outside. And I'm not saying that's what the Oilers did, but that's what they do is they wait for you to make a mistake and they capitalize. Whereas with Chicago, it was more of an open ice game. And the Oilers did kind of the Minnesota thing. They did a pretty good job of, Chicago controlled a lot of possession, got a lot of shots. The Oilers controlled the middle of the ice nicely and stopped Chicago from getting key scoring chances.
Chris, a big problem against Minnesota was obviously the special teams. You're not going to win a lot of games when you go 0 for 8 on your combined power play and penalty kill. Is that correct?
Yeah, I checked the math and you are correct. You will not win a lot of games when your special teams suck.
I also want to ask you about Tuesday. Cam Talbot struggled on Tuesday, and as our card-carrying member of the Goalie Guild, I wanted to have your opinion on his play on Tuesday night.
Yeah, that's not the Cam Talbot we like to see, obviously. And it's funny, Cam just threw this into the universe, which, I think it was yesterday. I don't even know if it makes sense. On whether or not we will actually see Cam Talbot in an Oilers jersey next year.
We talked about this when we were going to do our Donaire review today. I had a hot take.
Very hot take.
Like an
Are
extremely
you ready
hot take.
to drop the hot take?
Hold on to
Should
your seat.
I drop
Hold
my
on
hot
your
take right now? Because if you're wearing a sweater or something, you might want to take it off. Or if you're holding your cell phone right now, you might want to put on some oven mitts because this take is so hot.
We would put like a fire sound effect underneath it.
This take is so hot that
How
it makes
hot is it?
It makes Get sauce feel like just like mayonnaise. That's how hot this take is.
It's just milk.
Yeah, it's just your sauce is nothing compared to my take. And my take is that in 2019-20, Cam Talbot won't be an Edmonton Oiler, but Mikko Koskinen will.
So you are going to say on record today, here, November 2nd, 2018,
Yes.
that Mikko Koskinen will be the answer.
That's a little bit of foreshadowing for later. And that's
That
my
is a
hot
bold take.
That's a bold
Dan, I
take.
want to come over to you. What do you think about Coombs' take that Cam Talbot will not be here next year?
I don't know if I disagree with him about Cam Talbot not being here. I don't know about the other half of his statement because I've seen Mikko Koskinen play 2 really bad games and I've seen him play 2 really good games. And so I'm kind of I'm reset with Mikko, but I think our Cam is right when it comes to Talbot because goalies don't traditionally take pay cuts from teams that they've been with. And I don't see Talbot taking a pay cut from us, accepting a pay cut from us. Therefore, he'll go somewhere else.
Cam, is there any chance you have the goalie UFAs open in front of you for who's available next summer as well? Chris, go ahead and make your point.
While you're pulling that up, this is also saying, and we're 12 games into the season, so Cam still has a lot of work to do. We've seen him be hot and we've seen him be cold so far in these 12 games. And maybe, hopefully, Koskinen is lighting a fire under his belly. And I'm excited to see him play on the weekend because I think Talbot's got some work to do.
Looking at the weekend, here's a question for you. Real quick, around the horn, who plays in net on Saturday against Detroit? To me, I would have a hard time if I'm Todd McClellan not going back to Koskinen based on last night's performance. Anybody agree or disagree?
I think you go to Talbot because Talbot's still your number 1 guy.
Yeah, now McClellan, it's great. It's a great situation they're in. They have a 1A and 1B after seeing 2 games of Koskinen, that is. But you still have to send the messages to Talbot that he's still the number 1 guy. You got to keep his confidence up.
And arguably, I mean, to your point, you would think that playing against Detroit Red Wings, they've got a 4-7-1 record right now.
They're bad.
Should be, in theory, an easier day for Cam Talbot.
Right.
Hopefully.
So the way they've been operating now is that Talbot's been the guy who's getting his chances and Koskinen has to force his way into the net. You have to keep doing that because otherwise what you're doing is you're completely altering the momentum and the psychology of your goalies. And it's working right now, so don't change anything.
And arguably, too, I think that the time off that Koskinen got between his preseason game and his regular season games probably helped him because he was just spending time with the coach, working on his
spending time with the coach,
points.
hanging out in the basement,
Yes.
watching Netflix,
Playing
ordering
Red Dead
pizza,
Redemption.
hanging out,
Red
having
Redemption.
fun.
Redemption.
See, and I'm going against all of you guys. I think that the best thing for internal competition is rewarding guys that have played well. And Koskinen was lights out last night. Going back to the game against Chicago, I would argue that the Oilers didn't play poorly by any means, but that game easily could have gone the other way rather than a 4-0 decision.
Totally.
Last year they lose that game like 5-2.
And that's kind of where I'm
2 bad
too,
goals
right?
go in, the players get dejected, they lose that game. For sure.
I don't disagree with what you're saying, Bagmilk.
I
just think that we have a number 1 goalie right now, and Koskinen has played 2 great games, arguably, and I just don't think that you want to make that change just yet.
Now it's like a mental thing. McClellan has to take into consideration that Koskinen's role isn't to, well, I don't want to say that. His role isn't to take the number 1 starter. His role is to be backup and fill in when Cam Talbot needs a break.
But if you're a backup, you want the starting job, right?
True.
Like you want to play. You don't want to sit there.
Plus, I wouldn't even call Koskinen a backup. I think he's a 1B. That's what they signed him for. You don't pay $2.5 million for a backup.
Rick, what do you think about this?
I think you go back to Talbot for Saturday because you do have back-to-back coming up on Monday, Tuesday. Then you have Florida on Thursday. If by you guys saying that Koskinen keep going, if he wins again, then he plays on Monday. Now you're really starting to get ahead of your goaltender. But no, you go back to Talbot, and then you let him go 1-1 on Monday, Tuesday. And I think next Thursday is an interesting choice. It kind of depends on how next 3 games go.
They should be going like somewhere close to like back and forth now. Like, I don't think you want to suddenly jump into a situation where Talbot's sitting 2 games in a row, because I think you're running the risk then of really fucking with his psychology and putting him to a bad headspace, and that could derail his season.
So looking ahead at next week, so we got Detroit on Saturday, so the Caps on Monday, Tampa on Tuesday. That's a murderer's back-to-back. And then Florida on Thursday, going even further ahead. Then it's Colorado, Montreal, and Calgary.
So it's a tough schedule.
And I think that back-to-back allows you to play Koskinen again and in a natural kind of feel. And then if Talbot continues to struggle, then you make that change.
It'll be interesting to see. I wouldn't have, it's not like I would have a problem if they played Talbot tomorrow. I just, after last night, I could also see McClellan with the way he rolls being like, you know what, Koski, you're back in.
Yeah, and it's McClellan's kind of a wild card the way he jumbles things around, so we really have no idea.
Speaking of which, Chris,
yep.
You led me into something with jumbling the lines, because I was one of the people that looked at yesterday's line combinations, been like, Drake Caggiula on the first line, what the fuck is that? And then all of a sudden, the Drake goes out and puts up 2 goals. Somebody phone ringing?
No.
You podcast people, can you hear that? Can you hear the buzzing that we're hearing? Are we all going crazy? Chris,
Doubtful.
Anyway, back to Drake Caggiula. Drake Caggiula got called up to the big line last night. 2 big goals. I will happily eat the shit I spewed on Drake Caggiula yesterday, and he had that thrown in my face. What do you think about Drake?
You can't argue with his 2-goal game last night. I would much rather see Ratty or Yamamoto on the first line. Like, it's hard for me internally to cheer for Drake Caggiula, even though every time he gets the opportunity, he thrives. So, I mean, can you hate him right now? Is Caggiula going to play on the top line again?
I mean, you would think that he's going to play there probably for
you got to reward him.
You have to stop asking yourself the easy questions, Chris.
They're not easy questions, though. I don't know. Caggiula looked great, and he shut up all the haters, and good for him.
He did. He shut up the haters. 2 big goals. The Caggiula Breakdown, brought to you by our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant, 2540 Broadmoor Boulevard. Give them a call, 587-860-1538, or go to sherwoodford.ca.
Do you think Drake Caggiula could even see over the steering wheel in a big F-150?
Like the Nation truck?
Yeah.
No. You would need a booster seat, maybe some phone books, maybe
Probably.
a couple of yellow pages thrown under there, maybe a brick on the pedal. There'd have to be some adjustments.
You can
The
score
Mr. Bean
NHL
style.
goals, though.
Mr. Bean with the broomsticks and the brick on the string kind of thing.
Yes, but he was sitting on the roof of his
He
car
was.
because he had just went and got himself some
A lazy boy.
thrift shop deals.
You guys know too much about Mr. Bean.
No, you don't know enough.
I just
about
think you
Mr.
don't know
Bean,
enough
arguably.
about Mr. Bean, frankly.
The only knowledge I have from him is sitting at my eye doctor's in their waiting room watching Mr. Bean.
Could you see it?
TV. Yep.
Well, why were you at the eye doctor then?
Fun fact about Chris and eye doctors. Chris is of the opinion that his eyes regenerate even when he's not wearing his glasses.
They literally told me that. I would like an eye doctor professional who's listening to this.
What is this? Wait, hold on. You have an eye doctor that told you that your eyes regenerate?
No, they don't
Hey, you
You should
regenerate.
never go back to that eye doctor.
Let's
again.
not.
That's not a
that
thing.
was a guy in a back alley.
There's a guy in a van, sold Chris some glasses.
They don't regenerate. My eyes were just on the fine line in between needing glasses and not needing glasses. And he said if I don't wear glasses, they will adjust to the non-glasses life, and thus.
Well, it just means you're putting more strain on your eyes.
Is that the
Shut up.
non-glasses
Means
life where you can't see things
I
when you were driving?
Like if you can, like if you've ever driven with Chris and he's not wearing glasses, you're taking your life into your own hands.
If you would like to drive with the nation, Chris,
If you would like to drive with the Nation, Chris, go and see our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant, 2540 Broadmoor Boulevard.
Chris
Well,
is
give him a
waiting
call.
there in Sherwood Park. He's ready to take you out for a spin. He can't see shit, but he's going to take you out, and we're going to see how safe those Ford F-150s are. You're going to see just like how reinforced steel those things. You're going to drive them into trees and whatnot because Chris can't see worth a lick.
is that a tree or is that just an open pathway?
Is that a person? Is that a tree? Is that God knows what? But
My eyes.
we'll see
are
how safe the cars
regenerating.
are.
My eyes are just regenerating and trying to figure out things.
You guys all suck.
Gentlemen, this morning, dad to everyone, Evan Bouchard, was reassigned back to the London Knights after 7 NHL games, 1 goal, 10 shots for, and a -5 beside his name. Now, Cooom, I'm going to start with you. What do you think about the Oilers' decision to send Evan Bouchard back to junior? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What do you think?
Not overly surprising. That being said, it's a little odd to me they didn't let him play all 9 games. But I mean,
Does that have any?
no, it's the exact same regardless. It's like
Okay.
they can't bank those games. Dan asked me earlier this morning if they could bank the games and he could play like 11 next year, but no, it's just max 9. If he plays 1, if he plays 9, it doesn't matter. He gets his, NHL paycheck for this month and he goes back down to London rolling in fucking cash and he's going to have himself a great time.
With a hell of a team down there.
Oh, they're going to be a damn good team. He's going to go to World Junior. He's going to be one of the better D-men. Yeah, like I think Bouchard, I like that they had him play games and then sit out a few to watch, because I think there's a big learning experience to be had when you're watching from the press box. It's not like, when you have a scrubby vet sitting up there and they're just like, fuck. But with Bouchard watching, it's kind of like you can sit up there with one of the assistant coaches and they can point things out. It's like, here's what, good defensemen are doing well, especially when you're playing against teams like Chicago. You can say, hey, here's what Duncan Keith is up to. Like, that's a great learning experience. You can go down kind of to the OHL and they specifically know, like, okay, work on like these 3 things, work on like your skating, work on like protecting the front of the net, like that kind of stuff. But I'm still a little weirded out they didn't just give him 9 games, but whatever.
Chris, last week you thought that Bouchard would stick for the whole season. Today, obviously, he got sent down. What are your thoughts a week later?
After thinking about it more, it makes perfect sense.
Now that you've seen him go down, it makes perfect sense.
Brilliant decision. Brilliant decision. I've said it this whole time. I was surprised he didn't get the 9 games, but I mean, the team is rolling right now. Like,
Matt Benning's playing well.
Wait, random thought. Was his last game the Washington game when he scored?
He sat out 3 straight.
yeah,
His
it
last game
yeah.
was, so that means they had him score his goal. He's feeling good about himself. And then he watched a little while and then he went down. So he finished his NHL stint with his best game, I think.
I think he played against Nashville.
Did he?
I
don't think he did. I think he came out against Nashville.
No, I think
He might have played against Nashville because he sat 3 straight.
our memories
Regardless,
are so poor.
Chicago,
it feels like
Minnesota,
they brought him
Chicago.
out on a positive note. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. But I
And-
mean,
Sorry, go ahead, Chris.
no, I mean, they have their roster right now, and I think I have no concerns.
Here's the way I look at it. Dan, I'll get to you on the final word on Bouchard here in a second, is that there's a couple of things. The Oilers are playing well right now, which you said. Benning's back. He's healthy. He's playing well. Why would you try and force Bouchard into games when, who's going to come out on that right side, right? I also like the idea of him going back to London, as Cam said, to play a lot of minutes. He's probably going to play 25, 30 minutes a night. He's going to be playing with Boquist. They're going to be lighting it up. He can go play for the World Juniors. He can try for a Mem Cup. London's going to be stacked. They just got 2 NHL players, one from obviously Bouchard, and then what's his name from Ottawa got sent back as well. So they're loading up for a Mem Cup run. I like everything about this. And on the asset side, it's going to be another protected contract in the upcoming expansion draft.
Yeah.
Dan, am I right?
Yeah, that's a huge thing there. I think that was the main reason that he just wasn't going to be given a spot on the roster, was because we have to protect him for the Seattle expansion. But you know what? At age 38, his confidence can't be rattled. He's heading down to the Memorial Cup. He's going to be the oldest Memorial Cup winner of all time. And he's just he's going to be a heck of an asset for us going forward, and we don't have to worry about protecting him for Seattle in 2020.
I just don't understand the people that are like, well, he doesn't have anything left to do in junior. He got 87 points last year, bag milk. So what else is he supposed to do? Well, he didn't play for Team Canada last year. He didn't win a Mem Cup last year.
They're not entirely wrong, because
Well, I mean, ideally they'd want him to go to the AHL,
Exactly,
but that's not
it's
the
just
cards.
not possible. It's just not possible.
Making the
So,
best of the situation.
Yeah, he goes and develops in the OHL with a good coach and a good team. And
The Oilers are going to keep an eye on him. They're going to have their scouts checking in, sending him video, all that shit.
Yeah.
It's going to be fine.
Bouchard's last game was against the Caps when he scored.
well,
Cooom was right,
There you go.
At Cooom.
as always. I was waiting for somebody else to say as always. I didn't want to have to say it myself, but nobody
you did
chimed
it.
in.
You were that guy.
I had to do it.
Great.
Gentlemen, we are here on November 2nd, and the Oilers are in a playoff spot. I
We
believe.
did it. Woo!
Cam was
Yeah.
looking at the Western Conference standings before we got here. We're a month into the season. Looking at the schedule they've been through, I never expected the Oilers to have the record they do right now. Cam, what do you see when you look at the standards in the Western Conference?
I see a very competitive Western Conference. Like, what I'm looking at when I see the standings is the only really bad team in the West where you're playing them and you expect to win is LA.
which is crazy.
And I don't even think LA's that bad.
It's going to turn around for them, I would think.
Yeah,
But with Jonathan Quick on the IR for the next little while, like I do think that screws them quite a bit.
I think they got Jack Campbell though, don't they? Like he's not a slouch.
That's true. He's a strong backup goalie, but you're looking at, and you got, so like in the playoff hunt right now, you have all these teams. You have Nashville, who's damn good, Winnipeg, who's damn good. Flames are playing well. Minnesota's having a strong season. Colorado looks like they're killing it. Vancouver, I don't think is that good, but they're playing well. Chicago's having a rebound year. The Oilers are in there. San Jose's underachieving a bit. Dallas is playing well. Anaheim's got their unbelievably good goalie. The Coyotes are even playing well, and the St. Louis and Vegas towards the bottom. And again, two like pretty solid teams.
there are only 3 teams that are sitting below 500 right now in the Western Conference: the Kings, Golden Knights, and the Ducks.
So is that a product, do you think, of the Western Conference struggling or being a lot stronger than everybody else? Dan, what do you think?
I think that a lot of the talk is because I think most of the teams have been playing a heavy East versus West schedule so far, and so we haven't seen a lot of inter division matchups.
Well, others haven't even played against their division.
Exactly. And so there's something to be said to that, where it's like, you know, do these numbers truly show how it's going to end up? I doubt it. But yeah, East versus West.
Who do we think of the teams that are doing well are going to fall off a cliff? Do you guys think that like Colorado and Vancouver are actually good?
No,
I don't think Vancouver is going to be able to last. I think it's kind of like last year. They had a hot start and then they just kind of petered out.
It's weird when you look at the Canucks stats. It's like, why are they doing well? Like neither of their goalies are really killing it. They have nobody on the team has point per game except for Pettersson.
They're scoring a lot. Looking at their goal differential, they're at a -4, but they've put up 40 and allowed 44. Whereas you look at the Los Angeles Kings, they're terrible. They've scored only 24 goals this year while allowing 44. It's crazy to look at.
I think Calgary will come back down to earth with Mike Smith if they continue to count on Mike Smith.
I love Mike Smith. He's a fucking gift. God bless him.
Like that game last night was real bad, and then they turned it around in the third.
Rick, what do you see in the Western Conference?
Our best opportunity is we got to finish in the top 3.
Yeah.
We'll get our automatic spot then, because I think everybody knows that the last 2 spots are probably going to go over to the other division. Just looking at it quickly here, there's no reason why we can't stay ahead of LA and Vegas and
Anaheim, really.
Yeah, like San Jose, I can see coming up. We are exactly where we need to be, and I think we're sitting where we're going to finish up too. We'll be in the top 3.
So you think Vancouver? So Edmonton's in 3rd right now. You got to expect
Vancouver's going to come out.
Vancouver's going to slide down, and you got to expect San
Calgary
Jose's
has issues with goaltending, so they have to. That's really going to be an issue for them.
I think San Jose is a lock, I think, for a top 3 in that division.
I think San Jose finishes first over the 82 game schedule.
But it's still in the first month. You have a lot of veteran teams out there that really don't get going. They really don't.
Yeah, with the Sharks, like Carlson hasn't like found his.
They know they're fine.
Yet. Oh yeah,
they know they're fine in the long run. Anaheim can still do that. LA is too slow now.
They're bad.
They're too slow. They can't keep up.
We can say a rest in peace, Los Angeles Kings, right now. I think.
Yeah, they're gonna have to just start doing some rebuilding there.
I knocked on wood just in case. Cover our bases.
You know what I like to see? I like to see that Anaheim's lost 7 in a row.
I know.
That's fantastic.
That's incredible.
That's great.
It couldn't happen to bigger pieces of shit. And for that, I'm very grateful.
And they're losing all these games with Gibson makes like 50 saves a night, and they're still losing.
Good.
Like, what's going on here?
That's too bad.
What about those Golden Knights, Dan? Are they #actually bad?
Yeah,
Was last year a mirage?
I think
in Vegas.
Yes.
Oh, wait-oh.
There's definitely
That's
something.
a casino.
Okay. I didn't get
Chris
it.
is just staring at me blankly. He's just like
The whole room lights up, and I know I'm missing something.
Dan, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Vegas has definitely lost a little bit of its mojo from last year, and a little bit of the shock value for when
maybe it's because they're missing their number 1 fan.
Yeah, as soon as I left Vegas, they went downhill. But it's. I think that when it comes to Vegas, I think that LA will be better than they are right now. I think that you'll see Campbell take over from Quick, and I think they will be better. Drew Doughty is still an LA King, and even though he's a little afraid of McDavid, he's still a pretty good player.
Dan, you're looking at my screen again. Dan's looking at my screen and segueing into my Doughty topics.
You're welcome.
Drew Doughty did an interview at the NHL's official site. That's up at Oilersnation.com. And he talks about our captain, Chris. What does he say about our captain? Well, he's scared of him. The quote is, I shouldn't say this, but I've seen basically on my Instagram the last couple of weeks or so is him getting breakaways and breakaways and breakaways. And that's my number one fear when I play against Connor. His speed and his moves are so quick that you have to honor his fakes because he's so fast that you have to honor them. So that's always my biggest nightmare, that I'm going to give up a breakaway and he's going to make me look foolish. Chris, first thoughts?
I wonder if he's obviously he's scared of Connor. Everyone's scared of Connor. I wonder if he's just playing a little bit, because I'm pretty sure Connor has always said that Drew Doughty is the toughest defenseman to play in.
They're opening up their personalities a little bit. I know I saw an
Yeah.
interview with, I think it was Jamie Benn the other day, and he started making comments, or no, I think it's Sagan actually, and he said one of the best things for the NHL could happen is if Connor falls in love with some Hollywood starlet and they get married, and it's just
demands a
it's,
trade to LA, and
yeah, so they're
Kate
asking
sells
about
him for a bunch
so
of money.
they're just opening up their personalities a little bit, and I think that's where part of that comes from.
Yeah.
But honestly, there's a big part of the truth in there as well.
Oh, totally,
Should we be doing Drew Doughty a favor from now on? And anytime Connor scores a goal, we tag Drew Doughty in the Instagram post?
I think we probably should.
I think we should.
I think Drew would like to see the highlights.
Drew probably
You know what?
already gets like Connor McDavid alerts to his phone.
But yeah,
He
we
wants to
should-
see them
I think
so
we should
bad.
help with that.
Yeah, sure.
Gentlemen, all season long, we've heard needless debate, at least in my opinion, about who's the best player in the NHL.
there's no debate.
Drew Doughty weighed in with an answer. I don't think there is anyone close. There are guys I'm sure that are close in speed, but they don't have the whole package. He has everything. The vision, the hands, the shot, the edges, the movement, lateral movement. No one has it all like him.
The flow, the looks, the perfect family.
Whoa.
How about the commercial with Cam McDavid at the airport?
Acting skills. Who has that good of acting skills 4 years into his NHL career?
Who has that good of acting skills without any NHL career? Cam McDavid.
Yeah.
He did a great job.
They both did a great job.
You better
Were
hope
you a
this
little bit
doesn't go
nervous
viral.
that Connor McDavid said his favorite airport was the Pearson Airport in Toronto?
You know what, actually, speaking of that, it was just so funny. Like, I saw on Twitter, and I tried to find it yesterday, and I think the dude may have deleted his tweet, but he was complaining that Connor wasn't focusing enough on the Oilers.
Could the guy not tell in this video that everybody was wearing like fucking shorts and this was clearly filmed in the summer?
Clearly.
Yeah, and Connor's hair is way shorter. Like, what's going on here? Like, how dumb are we?
And the people that were upset that it wasn't Austin Matthews doing the Toronto airport ad? That
Well,
was-
we know he couldn't go to Winnipeg,
Obviously.
right? They can't go to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
CIBC, I assume, has their head office in Toronto. Makes sense, right?
Well, yeah, I think they have their head office in the airport now.
Well, there you go.
Pearson's a
is-
fine airport.
I've never been there, but I've heard it's nice.
It's an okay airport.
It's functional.
Isn't it one of the biggest?
It's
in the
better than
city?
Winnipeg's
Or-
airport, I'll tell you that.
well,
much.
that's
Well, yeah, I mean, look, you can have a field with like a dirt road on it that's better than the airport that Winnipeg doesn't have.
way better than Montreal's.
But what I will say is Pearson Airport doesn't have a Boston pizza like Edmonton International does. Edmonton International Airport's got Boston pizza. You want a 5 a.m. pierogi pizza? Yeah, I fucking do. Of course I do.
it
How about
also
a
has
Chili's?
a
Do they have
Chili's.
Chili's?
Yeah, it
You
has.
know
a
Chili's in Canada exclusively exists at airports now?
Yep.
You can't
What?
just go to like a box chain Chili's. And
That's
like
what they
South
did
Edmonton.
with
Yeah,
them.
now
They
it's an airport thing in Canada.
My favorite Chili's on 170th Street is no longer there. And
It's
I was
not
wondering
Chili's
where I
now.
went.
If you want Chili's, you got to go to the airport and get Chili's. You got to
No
go through
shit, hey?
security to get it too.
If you want
It's an
your piping
airport.
hot fajitas, you better take a flight out somewhere.
I believe it's pronounced fajitas.
Going back to Drew Doughty on Connor McDavid, every time you literally think something could go wrong for your team when he gets the puck, and that's how scary it is. I go in there scared, and I think what I love about it is that I realize how good he is, and I'm scared of going into the game, and that makes me rise to the occasion a lot of times. There's going to be times when he gets me, and there's going to be times when I get him. That's just the way it goes. Two really good players in the game, him probably being the best player in the game. Coom, final thoughts on Drew Doughty gushing a little bit over our captain.
That's it's no surprise there. It's nice to see him just be open and honest about it. It's better if you just own it.
The only possible way an NHL defenseman can prevent Connor from scoring a goal is if Connor misses.
Or get healthy scratched.
Like the funniest was when he scored that goal against Minnesota and he just made Ryan Suter, who's good,
High-lawned him.
just made him look like a turnstile. Looked like he was
High-lawned him.
walking into like a subway.
Well, we watched that video on YouTube of the 12 minutes of Connor McDavid doing dangles, which is a generous 12 minutes because there's about 8 highlights of the same highlight over and over again. But Zdeno Chara shows up in that a few times, and there's a guy that's been around forever, and Connor just dangles him all the time.
Well, it just shows like Connor gets the hardest matchups he possibly can on a shift-by-shift basis. and he still makes the best defenseman in the league look stupid. It's like he's playing on a different level altogether. It's like he should be called up to a league above the NHL.
He looks like when you're playing in a sports video game and you adjust the sliders. And you just can't, no matter how skilled you are at the game, just like sliders. You know, have those sliders where like you're playing against someone who's better than you, like an older sibling. You adjust the sliders so like their players are slow and bad. That's what he makes everybody look like.
Yeah, well, I've been saying he's got a turbo button for the last 4 years now, and he's hiding it, and I can't see it.
Someone's adjusting the sliders.
You asked him that on After Hours.
That's true. I did. Scott Oak asked.
Bragg milk.
Yes, that's right. That's right. The look of confusion on his face was priceless. Gentlemen, I want to look at some roster stuff coming up. But first, I want to give a shout out to our friends at Get Sauced. They are the official sauce providers of the Nation Network.
Also barbecue sauce and spice.
Barbecue sauces, spices.
They
Rivers.
provide sauces that are at least on par with our takes.
I know Jay went out yesterday to see the guys at Get Sauced to work on some collab stuff with our friends at Oodle Noodle.
Heck yeah.
Big things coming with Get Sauced in the Nation Network, Chris.
Friendship is coming.
And Jay, if you listen to the Real Life podcast from Monday, Jay is rattled. He is rattled about the next round of Coombs Trivia because...
He should be rattled.
He was talking a big game, but as Wanya and I were telling him that the pressure of the game will get to you, he started to get nervous. And Coom, he heard you talking shit last week that you were going to make the hardest Coombs Trivia
I've
questions.
made 2 really easy trivia questions for you guys so far, and this time I'm going to dive in and do some fucked up stuff like, all right, who hosted the All-Star game in 2008? You guys should know this. Atlanta did host the All-Star game in 2008 because yesterday actually, we were trying to watch the Euro Series game and we had Evan the intern trying to figure out the TV.
Because it wasn't on national television.
It wasn't on national television. It was blacked out because that's how you grow the game. We had Evan trying to figure it out. Evan was confused. He grew up in a home without a TV. His dad said, you're only allowed to do puzzles. You can't watch TV. It's against the rules in this household. Whatever. I'm not a dad. I don't know. But Evan was trying to figure it out. What Evan ended up getting on for us for some reason on Apple TV was the 2008 NHL All-Star game.
That's how
Atlanta.
you grow the game. That is how you grow the game.
That's how you grow the game. So we were watching the 2008 NHL All-Star game featuring Sean Horkoff, Oilers legend. And that's what Evan forced us to watch. That's what we watched.
Thank you, Papa Hugowanek.
That was a long, roundabout way of getting back to our friends at Get Sauced.
Did we get back to Get Sauced? You got us back.
What does Get Sauce have to do with the 2008 NHL All-Star?
Well, because it's going to be tied into Coombs Trivia, which is then going to tie into Radio Silence, their new hot sauce that they're making just for the show, which is going to blow Jay's head clean off his shoulders.
Exactly. That's what I was getting at.
If you want to go see our friends at Get Sauce, go check them out at 9620 58th Avenue. Give them a call at 780-462-2418. That's 780-462-2418. Or you can send them an email at sales@getsauce.com. Sales@getsauce.com.
Ask them about the Atlanta All-Star game. They'll have no idea what you're talking about.
They have all the information you need to know about the 2008 All-Star game in Atlanta. Now, Coom, you're a lineups guy. You're a roster guy.
Love lineups. Love roster baiting.
Ty Ratty is getting set to make his return after a midsection injury, some kind of muscle problem, Coom. Who's going to come out in his spot? They're going to have to make a roster move.
I think Cooper is going to be sent back down to the AHL.
I read yesterday on Twitter that he's injured. What happened to him?
I didn't see it, but I keep forgetting that he's on this roster.
Yeah, same here.
So Cooper Marody's the obvious one.
Day-to-day undisclosed.
Would it make sense to, what if he has to go in the IR or something like that?
Marody?
Yeah.
Toss Marody on the IR, bring Ratty back in. You're all even there. So that's all good. And then I think Ratty gets his shot back on the top line. One line I don't think you want to touch is the second line, which is
they're looking great
Toby
right now.
Reeder, Draisaitl, and Alex the Answer Chiazon.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time I've seen Draisaitl thrive as a center since the playoffs against Anaheim.
You know
He's
what?
got a great second line. Can't touch that now.
The only thing that bums me out about the second line is that I'm pulling so much for Toby Reeder to get a goal. He's doing absolutely everything except actually finishing.
The assist king. I was bugging our friend Reed Wilkins about that last night. I'm trying to figure out how many assists do you have to get without a goal to set an NHL record?
Did you have an answer?
He didn't. He's working on it.
Reed, pull it together, man.
Reed has answers for everything.
I thought he did.
He's got like the Erik Karlsson look right now, which is like somewhat close to a point per game with all assists.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So on the current lineup, who would you pull out to reinsert Ty Ratty, Chris?
I hate to say it, but Zach Kassian.
Cassian's
That's
coming
pretty
out.
Easy one.
See, what I would like to do, I
Just
think, is send one of Yamamoto or Puljujarvi down to the AHL.
Yeah, I'd be
Ideally.
fine with that.
I think that's what I would want to do.
It would
But
shake up Edmonton Twitter, though, for sure.
Edmonton Twitter is like on the verge of collapse at the best of times anyway.
Shooketh.
Dan, what do you think? How would you make Ty Ratty fit into the lineup?
Yeah, that is a tough one to have to see either Yamamoto or Puljujarvi go down, either go down or just come out of the lineup. But yeah, you got to believe that spot is just, you don't want to have Yamamoto down on your third or fourth line, and you don't want to have. I mean, Puljujarvi, I guess, could stay there with Strome, but
Here's the thing. I'm worried because Ratty and Yamamoto and Kajula have all proved to produce points on the top line with McNuge, but they've not proved to produce points on their own. So we have 3 of those guys and 1 top line. So when Ratty comes back, Yamamoto's back, where are we going to slot them in, and are they going to be productive on the third or fourth line?
Yamo and Puljujarvi both go down to Bakersfield.
I can
Both.
fuck with that.
Only one played yesterday, so when you pop Ratty in, one was out already. They both go down.
Yeah.
They both go down, and you use your veterans to play that right side.
I love Yamamoto up here.
We
though.
all love him, but he hasn't scored. He's looked okay, but he hasn't done a lot offensively. He's been in the corner. He's been winning battles, but offensively, he hasn't really got to what we want out of him.
Okay, well,
You send them both down to find their offensive groove.
what if we send Puljujarvi down? Yamamoto takes the spot on the energy line on the third line.
But you
So
He
where
doesn't put a lot
Did
of
you
points
draft
up.
him to play there?
Sorry?
Where in the long run, where do you want him playing?
The top 6.
Then yeah, so then
Chris
you let him.
Chris
Then
is
you let
getting
him.
a firm lecture right here.
Then you send them down, and you let them get some of that mojo going. You let them find their offense.
Oh, fine.
I think
Chris got put into timeout.
You don't want to play.
Did you draft him to play there?
You don't want to play that third line. I know
I know.
it's fun having them up here and stuff, but
Yeah.
we actually have a situation right now where we can put these guys back down. And yeah, it's it's a weird thing since they played here for a bit, and then we'll put them down to try and find it. But right now we're actually set up to the point where we can afford to put them both down. And if we go on a 3-game losing streak, bring them back up.
Do you think we keep Cooper Marody up here because of that?
No,
yeah,
he's got to
probably.
play
I mean,
too.
he's probably fine. He's probably better suited to.
He's
be,
older than those guys too.
He's better suited to be like a 7-8 minute guy or even a press box guy than the other two.
Fair enough. Yeah, he
But
hasn't
you
looked
might
like-
even be able to send him down and bring up, say, some
Brad
other
Malone.
28-year-old AHLer to ride the press
Yes.
box.
Brad
I'm
Malone.
behind this.
I agree. Cooper's not a guy that you sit in the press box. Like, he's developing too, and he has a lot of potential. So I think we should send him.
I just don't want either of Puljujarvi or Yamamoto developing on that black hole Strome Lucic line.
It's like, God bless them for their effort. Like, they're getting all kinds of trophies for showing up and having a good attitude or whatever. But those guys are a bit of black hole.
Who's getting the trophies?
Oh, Milan Lucic.
Lucic and Strome are getting effort
yes.
trophies, but
Yeah.
like right
Yes.
now there is nothing doing with those guys.
At least they're not getting scored on.
No, then that's fine. They're playing well in zones that are not the offensive zone. How's
So
that?
put like JJ on that third line with those boys, and they can just go out there and rough guys up.
See, that'd be a good
I'm
bang
okay
and
with
crash
that.
line. Why
Why
not?
not? Sure. And then give Ty Ratty his chance to be the answer on the top line. If he has a bad game, throw Kajula in there.
I think,
let them rotate and battle it out.
I think Ratty isn't going to get the top line spot when he returns.
That's a good question, Chris, because we have a very serious debate going on here with Ty Ratty coming back into the lineup. After he's missed 6 or 7 games now, 6 or 7, doesn't matter. He lost his The Answer title belt to Alex Chia's son.
Alex, the answer, Chiazone.
Alex The Answer Chia's son took it over from Ty Ratty, and he doesn't want to give it up. He does not want to give it up. Last night, we were all texting. We were talking about the Answer trophy, trying to move it around, trying to see if maybe Mikko Koskinen is in the mix.
Koskinen's going for it.
He's throwing his hat in the ring.
Drake
He is.
Caggiula also
Drake
put in a
Caggiula
bid.
throwing his hat in the
There's a
ring.
lot of potential answers.
Alex Chason, though, he's like, whoa. Let's slow down. And he goes out and scores another goal.
The kill shot.
He looked mad when, I think in the intermission, he went on his phone and he started cruising around on Twitter and he saw people throwing things out there like, oh, Drake Caggiula is the answer. And Alex Chiasson was like, shut the fuck up. This guy is not the answer. And then he went and buried a goal. He's like, I am still the answer. He looked pissed.
And with that, I give props to Alex Chiasson.
Yeah, the man doesn't want to give up his title.
Yeah.
God bless him. And Cooom, I want to ask you, if you were to rank your answer rankings right now, maybe the top 3, how does your top 3 look right now? We'll go around the horn. Start with Cooom.
Right now, I'm going to make a hot take, and you guys know where I'm all in, and I'm all in saying right now that Mikko Koskinen is the answer. Mikko
He's
Koskinen's
one.
my number 1 answer.
He's one. Chris is shaking his head. We'll get to
And
you in a
I'm
minute. Chris, go ahead.
going to put Alex Chiasson as my number 2 answer because I think he's a key driving force on that second line, which is key. And then I'm going to say that Ty Ratty is still the number 3 answer because I think he's key to making the top line the perfect line.
Chris, you were shaking your head at Mikko Koskinen as the answer. Why?
Because I don't think we should make someone who plays once every 5 to 6 games the answer. Because what? So Koskinen's going to get a 40-save shutout. We're going to give him the answer belt. Then he's going to sit in the bench for 6 games, and the answer belt's
I don't
just
think he's going to be sitting
getting,
on the bench for 6 games.
Maybe he'll play once in those 6 games, and then
Played once in every 3 games.
the belt is going to collect dust, and then Alex Chiasson is going to continue scoring goals every 2 games, and he's going to be like, where's my belt? It's collecting dust over
Okay,
here.
where's your top 3?
Yeah,
Who's
let's give you your top 3. How's your ranking set up right now?
I had Drake Caggiula up there last night until Alex Chiasson scored his goal and put his foot down to all this
So
nonsense.
Chason's
talk.
still number 1 for you.
Chiasson is still number 1. Drake Caggiula takes number 2 spot. Mikko Koskinen number 3 spot.
Dan?
I've got a controversial one coming here. This one you might want to put your oven glove back on.
Brad Malone cannot be the answer.
Take
Dan.
your
Brad Malone's
jacket.
not the answer.
Take your jacket off. It is not Brad Malone. Not until he gets called up again.
It can't be Kyle Brodziak either.
I'm not going to give it to Kyle Brodziak.
It
You
can't
can
be
keep
wearing
guessing.
shorts.
Keep guessing. Yeah, keep coming.
Oh, I
I'm
know
not
who
wearing
you're gonna
shorts
say.
today. My number 1 answer for the top answer is the answer, Toby Reeder.
Toby Reeder could be the answer.
How you can't look at, you have to look at the season as a whole, and one guy that has consistently shown up, consistently climbed his way up through the lineup, consistently withheld all the accountability talk from Todd McClellan, Toby Reeder. He has the most assists I've ever seen from an Oiler without scoring a goal.
7.
Or even having a
Seven.
sniff. Or
Seven's
even
not
having
bad.
a sniff.
He set the Edmonton Oilers single season all-time franchise
Yes.
record for assists with 7.
Toby Reeder, tons of effort, kills penalties, does everything you want, assists goals. Toby Reeder, the answer. Number 2 is Ty Ratty. I think that I don't think you lose your spot.
Alex Chason get no love from
I
Dan.
don't think
Why
you
do you
can
hate
lose your
Alex
spot
Chiasson?
What Alex Chiasson do wrong?
as the answer just from injury alone. So I think he's going to come back and he's going to be pushing my boy Toby for a spot on my ranking. And then number 3 is Alex Chiasson.
Here's a little fun fact for you about Toby Reeder, Dan. He has 7 assists already this year. He had 13 total last season.
And I think
What do you think about that, Dan?
so he's going to set the single double season record for the most assists.
See, I think this is a difficult one because
Gotta
I think Reeder and Chiasson are kind of doing a similar thing to be the answer in that they've created a second line for Draisaitl.
Yeah.
But Ratty was always, you really needed that one guy with McDavid to be the answer. But then again, Koskinen, whenever he gets in net, the team just seems to be flying. So it's like, man, like Koskinen gets in the pipes and everyone's going. So that's why Koskinen's the answer. Everyone plays a different game with Koskinen in between the pipes.
You can campaign all you want, but I want to hear what Bag Milk has for his top 3.
I'm going to go ahead and say that Alex Chason's still the answer. He is the answer. He is defending his title well.
Obviously.
And until somebody comes in and strips him of it, there shall be only one answer.
Chiasson's not playing bad enough to lose the answer belt.
And he's scoring timely goals. He's got 5 and 7, baby.
And he does the exact same nonchalant celly every time.
The man is
Like
a
a
consummate professional. He came in here. He's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to PTO, but I'm going to grind my ass off into a contract. And they're like, okay, here's your fucking contract. He's like, okay, I'm going to sit out the first handful of games of the season. You're in, Chiasson. And he's like, okay, I'm in. 4th line, no problem. I'm going out and scoring goals.
And-
He climbs his way up to Draisaitl's line. People are talking about, including us four at this table, about how he is going to lose his title of the answer. He goes out and pops another fucking goal.
Yep.
Alex Chiasson is a man. He is possessed. He's 40. He's a man. He's got testosterone coursing through his veins.
He's a Stanley Cup champion.
He's a Stanley Cup champion. Every MSM guy who has in and around the Oilers dressing room all the time has always said that Alex Chiasson is 100% professional, shows up to the rink to work, and that's all he focuses on. And that's why he has the answer belt, and he'll have it for a long time as long as he keeps doing that.
And who set up Chiasson's goals last night?
I don't care.
Who set it up?
Well, Reader, yeah. I mean,
Yes.
but it's about who finishes it.
yeah.
All right, you know what? I'm all in. I agree. Alex Chiasson's still the answer.
Alex Chiasson
Yes.
is still the
Yes.
answer.
Alex
for
Chiasson's
me.
the
back.
answer.
I've
We've come to a
got-
conclusion here.
Drake Caggiula is my second. He's a runner-up because you know what? He's throwing his hat in the mix. I'm a guy who took shots at Drake Caggiula going up on the top line. He's just like, fuck you, bag milk. I'm going to go out and score 2. And I'm like, all right, son, no problem. I apologize. And he throws his hat in the ring. And then number 3, I like Mikko Koskinen weaseling his way into the conversation. God bless you, big man. You're making kick saves from the corner. You're sweeping the stick at the crease across the ice. I love it. The big man's in there. He's in the mix. But right now, Alex Chiasson is the answer.
Chiasson's the answer. They're 4-2-1 since Chiasson jumped in the lineup. He's on pace to score something like 70 goals this year. Maybe he does it. Who knows? I wouldn't bet against him. I'm not going to
His
bet against
shooting-
Alex Chiasson.
His
You
shooting
never bet
percentage is
against
like
Alex Chiasson.
60%.
right.
Shooting at 60%, how could you bet
So
against that guy?
I will secede the point that right now Alex Chiasson holds the belt, but Tobias Reeder is coming for it.
This answer talk brought to you by our friends at Get Sauced, 9620 58th Avenue. Give them a call at 780-462-2418 or send them an email. Ask questions. Ask about sauces. Ask about rimmers. Ask about anything you want to do with flavor. Sales at getsauce.com. Again, that's 780-462-2418 or sales at getsauce.com. Boys, all 4 of us talked about Mikko Koskinen. I want to talk about it a little bit more. Last night's shutout, he became the first goalie in Oilers history to post a shutout in his home debut, and he looked damn good doing it. Do you think his performances in his first 2 games of the season are going to affect how Todd McLellan deploys him moving forward? Chris?
Well, they're going to play more.
So yes, then.
I see.
The answer
Well,
we sort of
we sort of touched on this earlier. I think McLellan needs to be weary of the mental game now between the 2 goaltenders. Talbot has the number 1 spot, and I think he should be thoughtful on whether he just easily gives it to Koskinen, and then he'll hurt Talbot's feelings, and Talbot will lose his confidence. Rick?
No, the simple answer is yes.
I like my answer.
100% yes. What he's done in the first 2 games will affect how Todd plays him going forward. We saw it last year when guys were going the opposite direction. That affected it. All of a sudden, Talbot's playing far too much. I really hope he's not worried about anyone's feelings. In fact, I'm really hoping none of those guys are worried about having their feelings hurt either.
It's an emotional game
We're
out there.
all
Rick.
there to get ourselves into the playoffs. We're all there doing a team thing. One's 30, the other one's 28, 29. They've been through this a long time. They know what's going on. We're all out there trying to win the game. But yeah, no, he's going to see a lot more than any backup has seen in the last couple of years, as long as he keeps playing the way he is.
Cam, thoughts on Mikko Koskinen? You were passionate before.
I'm pretty passionate about how this is going. What I think is what the Oilers need here is they don't need Koskinen to operate at a .955 save percentage like he is right now for like the rest of the year. All they need is
It'd be nice though.
somebody who can competently push Talbot to not have to play every single game like he has the past few seasons. Like in the past, our backup goalies have been like Gustafsson, who sucked all kinds of ass. Fucking Montoya, who was the answer for about 45 seconds.
There was a minute there when he was the answer.
Terrible. And oh my God, who was the other one they had? And Brossoit, Brossoit was bad too. Like none of them could.
Turns out he's Winnipeg's answer.
Now he's Winnipeg's answer. But yeah, all the Oilers need is somebody who can come in and push Talbot, and that's what Koskinen's doing here. It looks like he's spent some time with the goalie coaches, figured out the North American game. He takes up the whole net, and he gets in there, and the team seems confident when he's in net.
The goalies look better because the team is better, though.
This is true.
LB is the biggest point there. what I saw last year was just, a couple of bad goals, but a bad team in front of them. There's no confidence in the team with the goalie and no confidence from the goalie with the team. It was just really bad. So I honestly would have, I know this is going to sound bad, but I would have given LB one more year. What he's doing over there isn't really surprising me all that much. I'm happy where we are right now. I'm happy that he's out there playing well, but I think, the team in front of him made.
Would you argue that Trent Yanni's name deserves to be in the mix for the
100%
for the answer? Because he's got the defensemen right now are playing a way better, solid defensive game in front of the net. Like they're active sticks, actually making it hard for the other team to get into the high danger slot.
Well, I think he's done this before, but he's definitely made us look better.
I think you made the point earlier too, Coom, when we were off radio, is that one of the guys on this team that's not getting a lot of credit for what he's done so far this year is a healthy Oscar Klefbom.
Absolutely.
He's fantastic so far this year.
He's logging those minutes and he's not showing any signs of wear and tear.
No.
And he's just consistent as all hell.
All off season, everybody was like, the Oilers need to go out and trade for a number one D-man. They had their number one D-man right in front of them, and that's Oscar Klefbom. He's healthy, and he looks like a top 10 D-man in the league right now.
To me, the best decisions the Oilers made over the summer was some of the trades they didn't make.
Right.
Like
Nugent Hopkins, Klefbom.
Nugent Hopkins, they were talking about trading him, which obviously I argue against as the president of the Nugent Hopkins fan club. Oscar Klefbom, there's a lot of talk of him going for Torrey Krug.
Oof, no thanks.
But he's playing over 25 minutes a night. Last night he played 24-51 against Minnesota, 27 against Chicago on Sunday. It was 25, 30 against Nashville. He's playing a ton of minutes and he's doing it very effectively. Chris, what do you thought about Oscar Klefbom so far?
I have an insider that is in the dressing room that has told me that Oscar Klefbom has 3 more abs this year.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Wow.
So he's got 14 now.
It's a 9-pack.
14 or 15. I think it's an odd number
15 pack.
Yeah. Can you believe it?
That's good value.
So obviously with a 15 pack, it's understandable how good he's playing this year.
Dan, last word on Klefbom?
Yeah, it's been nice to have that at the top of the lineup, and I know they've had a little bit of fluidity when it comes to their pairings. It's mostly Larson and Klefbom, but
they look good too.
They've shuffled around, and it's been good. Like the defense has been solid, so I think Yanni definitely gets some credit there. But you got to give Klefbom a shout out for his efforts so far.
Should we come up with a skilled player answer type award? Because right now the skilled players or the answer award is kind of somebody that you wouldn't necessarily expect.
Secondary
they're the question marks that become the answer.
Right. So the answer is somebody like you have your main guys, right? You mean David, Nugent Hopkins, Talbot, Klefbom, you guys you know are going to be good. The answer is someone who gets augmented in there and pushes everybody above. But we need to come up with something. It's like, who's the true non-McDavid MVP here?
That's not... I don't
think who's the franchise, but we know it's Connor's
the
franchise.
McDavid's the franchise.
Who's the franchise light?
That's the you got to come up with it without it being too condescending.
Who's the engine?
Daddy is Laine.
No, McDavid's the
Did
daddy.
you hear that whole conversation?
What? No, I don't like that. I don't like this. Don't call Laine daddy. Of course, we all know there's only one big daddy, which is Milan Lucic, right?
He's a big daddy.
Of course. Boys, I want to change gears a little bit. The three of you are doing something wonderful. Something for the people. All three of you signed up yesterday to do an Oilers Nation Movember team. Looking at all three of you, freshly shaven.
Yeah, we do it a little different than the NHL players do, eh?
Yeah. Like, how about Cassian last night? He's got a greasy duster already. Same with Cam Talbot. He's rocking a full handlebar.
He looks like
cheap as all hell.
He looks like he could change your tire on the side of the road without a problem.
I'm pretty sure Cassian grew that overnight. I think it was fair game.
You think that's a fair mustache?
Yeah.
I want to know...
When you put us up against day one Cassian, it's going to be a landslide victory for him.
I want to know amongst the three of you, if we're doing a little betting here, little friendly wagers, who amongst the three of you do you think will finish with the best facial hair at the end of November?
I want Chris to win it because he's going to Mexico for his honeymoon mid-month here. And it's
I didn't even think of that.
It's going to be good.
You're going to look sweet.
My mother-in-law texted me last night and brought up that I'll have a mustache in Mexico.
Hey man, those are going to improve family photos as far as I'm concerned.
I think so, yeah.
I think
so. We have we're leaving Mexico back to Canada on December 2nd, so I'll have 2 days to get some good pictures in mustaches.
But just think of like how your face will be tanned, but the mustache zone will be
It'll
white.
take like 5 minutes.
You're gonna have a really, really like Christmas ornament red face with just like a line of white. And it's going to look like you were, enjoying a little blizzard in Mexico, maybe.
So I believe that Chris's mustache will rival that of Anton Lander style mustache, facial hair.
Okay.
I think
accurate.
Cam is going to be rocking a little early Connor McDavid neck beard / face
No, I'm going to be
beard.
shaving my neck.
Oh, you're
think
not
the-
doing no shave
Oh,
November.
I'm going
I
so
get
I'm
the
going
scruff,
full
though.
no
I
shave
get it.
November.
I don't want to look like I spend too much time in the basement playing video games
That's me,
and cruising
for sure.
4chan. I don't want that.
That
to
is
be
my
a thing.
aesthetic for sure.
I don't want to be putting on like a fedora and saying "milady." So I'm gonna lean in and say I'm gonna be chopping off the neck beard.
Okay,
That's
I'm
only
going,
fair.
I'm going full no shave November, so I'm going to look like Sidney Crosby year one playoff.
Dan's gonna
beard.
also.
Well, because you're a
It's gonna be
giant
bad.
man baby, though.
I am.
But you
But
sense that you
I
can't
am.
grow.
I really am.
You're
Are
like
you
a
also
hairless
you're
man.
also dedicating yourself to not shaving your legs too?
Yes,
Okay.
confirmed.
Rick is somebody who can actually grow facial hair. When you look at the three of these young lads before of us, what do you think? Who's a winner?
Nobody.
Shut up.
Nobody's gonna win this. Coom, I think Coom's gonna have the. If you're just going mustache, I can see early Sidney Crosby on you. Like I can just see a
How
little bit
early
of that.
Sidney Crosby? You mean like voice cracking in interviews? Like
No, like first year of the playoffs when he's just trying.
It was when he was in Timbits hockey, and he was
Yeah,
like, it's just been my dream to play in the NHL.
I don't think Chris is gonna have that big of an issue when it
already
comes
have
back
a-
to shave because I don't think he's gonna have that much coverage.
I have the biggest shadow going on right now of all three of us.
because you did the worst job shaving.
But the top lip
No.
is another situation. Yeah, this
I don't know
is
what
this
that
is gonna get dirty.
To catch a predator style.
We need daily updates, photos.
No, we gotta do weekly because
Weekly?
We'll do twice a week. We'll do like a Monday look and a Friday look.
Okay, that I'm
Okay.
okay with.
Post weekend and then pre-weekend look.
Yeah, no, it's not going to be pretty with either one of you three.
thank you. Anyways, so, yeah, you can go on our Movember, just search Oilers Nation team.
Oilers Nation, or go to OilersNation.com. Dan posted an article yesterday with all the links you need. Boys, you're also welcoming people to the team. Is that correct?
We've welcomed 2 members to our team. I think Bill and Bob.
Shout out to Bill and Bob.
Bob.
No.
I think joined our team already.
Those aren't the people. You just made that up.
I did. I don't have it in front of me, but that was for me to buy some time for Chris to look up
We
the
got
website.
Bob and
I'm on
we
it.
got Bob and we got Socrates.
Evan, you told me who they were. It was Bill and
Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Kevin rings a bell.
Bill, Ted, and Kevin, and Gus, and Frank, and Lucius.
Is
if
Frank
you-
doing No Shave November?
Never shaves.
If you would like to join us, you are welcome to join our team. So, Bag Milk, we will be putting that in the article today, I believe.
That's
we have
correct.
For the podcast.
We've raised $290 after one day. Our goal is $5,000.
Humble brag from old Chris Gordeco here, Moneybags Gordeco, as he's known around these
I just
parts.
said we raised that as a team, Dan.
Look at, I'm looking at the photos on Team Oilers Nation right now. And Chris, I see, did not update a photo. He used one from his wedding.
He used a wedding
He used
photo.
So
one
what?
from his wedding in the summer.
I ran home yesterday after work and shaved and put a picture up.
There's
there.
no rule saying you have to use it like that kind of photo. I'm clean shaven in the photo.
And on our team is Brandon and Bill. Brandon and Bill.
I had Bill right, but not Bob.
And of course, we've got Evan the intern in the mix as well. If you want to donate to the team, if you want to join the team and help us raise funds for Movember, head on over to OilersNation.com. There's going to be links there. We're also going to put in the article for this here podcast.
Another thing, if you guys want to donate to Evan, the intern specifically, not only is he not going to shave for the month, he's dedicated himself to not drinking ketchup from the bottle for a whole month.
Low sodium ketchup.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
which is
not-
incredible. So like a thing that
Good for
Evan
him.
does, which we think is weird, but we accept, is he comes in with his own bottle of ketchup from home and he drinks out of it, like he sips on it like a juice box.
Wow,
and he
Evan.
says he promises he's not going to do that for a whole month if you donate money to his cause.
I don't
Super
think
weird.
he has it in him to stop that.
No, he's hooked.
Yeah.
He's hooked.
Once
We
you're
will-
into that ketchup.
We will take photographs of him if he does cheat on this, though. Okay, guys? So,
Yeah.
just to let you know.
Another thing I want to mention real quick before we sign off for another week is that our Calgary trip on November 17th is, Dan,
Sold out.
not only did we sell out the bus ride down from Edmonton to Calgary, we also sold out the tickets for nation citizens behind enemy lines that are in Calgary that just want to hang out and party.
If you're still looking for tickets, you can join us up in press level. I think it's 1 to 4 is the area that we're in. So in that section of
You know the
of
area of the Saddle Dome called Section 1 to 4?
press
That's
level
where we
1.
are.
It's press level 1 and
press
press
level
level.
sounds
I wasn't
fancy.
listening.
Oh,
I'm guessing it's not.
so that's the
fancy,
one where
but-
you have to like
You were
have
up
to
there
ask,
last. You were up there last year.
Oh, that's press level?
Press level
Why do
is
they
like-
call it press level?
Because you're
Because we're
above
higher
where
than the press
is.
box.
Because that's
So
where
you
all
have
the
to-
asbestos is.
You have to hire a Sherpa to join you on the venture, and then you find the usher
Pack
that
snacks.
leads you to the back staircase, and then you have to go past the Lanny McDonald statue that they don't like to have out front of the building, and then you have to go across the sections where people actually pay for their seats, and then you go through the concession stands that don't serve food or beer, and then you have to cross through the elevator.
Okay, this is enough.
And you're also going to have what they have there
You
is
guys
they
let me
have
keep
this
going.
they have this guy with a donkey, and you can get on the donkey and it'll walk you up. But the entire way up the ride, they have hundreds of people screaming at you about Calgary's Olympic bid,
Yes.
and it's just like you have to cover yourself because they're bombarding you with just like why the Olympics will be great for the city, and you're like, oh my god, like please stop, this is overwhelming.
Should we
There's
answer
Rachel
a couple
Notley
quick questions?
cutouts.
Do we have any questions, Chris?
Yeah, I got
Well,
a couple questions.
The music's already
music
coming
we're gonna
out.
play it out.
Playing us out.
Jared's playing us out.
Jared's
We
like,
can't-
I'm fucking
we
sick of
can't
this
finish
podcast.
this.
These people are not interesting.
Keep
Just end
talking
this now.
over the music. I don't care how
Yeah,
loud you
won't
play
let
the
us.
music.
Thank you to our friends at Sherwood Ford the Giant out in Sherwood Park, and to our friends at Get Sauce for making this happen. This is episode 10 of Oilers Nation Radio. Have a good weekend, everybody.
Best wishes.